Welcome back to MPN's Family Peer Support Provider Training, video 3 of 4. All right, part 4, the value of family peer support. So really, family peer support adds value to everybody in the process, to the family, the provider, the child or youth, and to the overall system. So specifically to the family, a family peer supporter provides connection. They help the family gain skills, knowledge. They are non-judgmental. They offer that emotional support. They can connect to community resources, and they can really encourage and help the family to have a positive family engagement within the treatment team. And then hope, that's probably the most important, is that we can provide hope that, we have been there, we can continue to walk forward in this. So to the child or the youth, it provides advocacy. It provides uninterrupted care. So a lot of times when a youth or child is moving from one care setting to another, or maybe they're moving from a care setting back into home or school, really all those systems work separately. And so you really feel like as a family member that you have the help and care here, and then once you're through with that program and you go into this other one, there's a period of time where you don't really have any support. And so having a family peer supporter there can help with that. The family peer supporter, through helping family, that family can help support that child or youth in their recovery. They can encourage healthier family relationships. And having family peer supporter, like I said, it connects the family to different community resources, which would include school, a job, that sort of thing. So to you, the provider, you receive an engaged family. You receive a family when they're working with a family peer supporter that is they're empowered in the process, but they also work together with the treatment team, really kind of a collaborative. That's what we hope. It lowers the costs. So when a family is in crisis and they just need someone to call, they can call family peer supporter as opposed to going to the hospital, ER, clinic. And again, then there is less use of acute care, and we see better patient outcomes. So to the overall system, the system receives people with lived experience within the system who can really help. They're the boots on the ground that really know how things how things are. We would have a growing workforce. So as we include family peer supporters into the workforce, they really can cover a lot of the holes in our workforce shortage. You get advocacy within the system. You get another recognized paraprofession, and it could lead to youth support. So we're hoping as family peer support gets certified, billable, that youth peer support will follow, because really ideally we would like the family to have support, and we would also like the youth to have support.
One of the most interesting new directions of stress research is taking the effects of stress down to a nuts and bolts level of how cells work, how genes work, that half a dozen years ago nobody could have imagined.
The once unimaginable, genetic structures called telomeres, which protect the ends of our chromosomes from fraying. As we age, our telomeres shorten,
What's interesting is stress, by way of stress hormones, can accelerate the shortening of telomeres. So the assumption is for the exact same aged guys, if you're a low-ranking guy who's just marinating in stress hormones, your telomeres are going to be shorter.
So how does this formidable finding apply to us? San Rafael, California. Once a week, Janet Lawson keeps a very important appointment. She joins other mothers who share circumstances that produce chronic, unremitting stress.
But she loses her balance, and that's the scary part. So we just went out actually last night and bought a new helmet just for fun.
And that as she's getting older and wanting more independence, it's getting harder.
Each of these women is mother to a disabled child.
And then for us, my son's only 8, and there's enough I can handle, and I don't allow myself to go too much out. I can't.
I had a friend recently who said to me, you know, I think you really should consider putting Lexi in a home. And that was really stressful in and of itself to think, wow. So, sorry.
No, don't be sorry, hon.
So I was like, wow, how could you even say that? She's, you know, a little girlfriend. She's, even though she can't really communicate, she loves.
She loves.
She loves.
She loves life.
She loves.
These remarkable women came to the attention of biologist Dr. Elizabeth Blackburn.
I didn't directly know the individuals, but I know the stories. I'm a mother myself, and so when I heard about this cohort, I really thought it was worthwhile finding out what really is happening at the heart of the cells in these mothers who are doing such a difficult thing for such a long time.
Dr. Blackburn is a leader in the field of telomere research.
We have 46 chromosomes, and they're capped off at each end by telomeres. Nobody knew in humans whether telomeres and their fraying down over life would be affected by chronic stress. And so we decided we would look at this cohort of chronically stressed mothers, and we decided to ask what's happening to their telomeres and to the maintenance of their telomeres. What we found was the length of the telomeres directly relates to the amount of stress somebody is under and the number of years that they've been under the stress.
Such stressed mothers became the focus of a study by Dr. Blackburn's colleague, psychologist Alyssa Eppel.
Mothers of young children are a highly stressed group. They're often balancing competing demands like work and child rearing, and often don't have time to take care of themselves. So if you add on top of that the extra burden of caring for a child with special needs, it can be overwhelming. It can tax the very reserves that sustain people. And if they're stressed, if they report stress, they tend to die earlier.
These women have shortened telomeres, decreased activity of this enzyme, and very, very rough number, for every year you were taking care of a chronically ill child, you got roughly 6 years worth of aging.
This is real. This is not just somebody whining. This is real, medically serious aging going on, and we can see that it's actually caused by the chronic stress.
But there is hope. Dr. Blackburn co-discovered an enzyme, telomerase, that can repair the damage.
It's what I always call it, the threat of hope.
Preliminary data suggests that a meeting of minds such as this may actually have a health benefit by stimulating the healing effects of telomerase.
About it.
And laugh.
And laugh.
If you don't laugh, forget it. You can't handle it.
What I found is that the humor is something, there's a certain level of black humor that we have about our kids that only we appreciate. We are the only ones who get the jokes, and in a way, we're the only ones who are allowed to laugh at the jokes.
One of the questions in the stress field is, what are the active ingredients that reduce stress and that promote longevity? And compassion and caring for others may be one of those most important ingredients. So those may be the factors that promote longevity and increase telomerase and keep our cells rejuvenating and regenerating.
So perhaps connecting with and helping others can help us to mend ourselves and maybe even live longer, healthier lives.
So since Montana's network has been providing family peer support across Montana, we've started surveying our families. So we survey them after every time we have contact with them. And it has been pretty remarkable. So through our surveys, we have found that 95% of the families feel that the quality of their family's life has improved since having access to a family peer supporter. 87% feel that the quality of their child's care has improved since having access to a family peer supporter. And that's really interesting because we don't work with the child. So technically the child does not get improved care, but just by having someone there to support them, the family really feels that the care for their child overall has improved. They feel 91% feel more comfortable and confident managing their child's health challenges and care since speaking to family peer supporter. There again, the more tools and the more we can empower families, the less that they will have to use acute care. Another thing that was amazing was we asked them, which of the following wellness categories do you feel were addressed today with the family peer supporter? And they could choose any of these. They could choose 2 of them, 3 of them. Almost 80% said emotional support, which is really validating because that's what we do. That's our job. But then it's interesting too, like they feel that they've been supported in occupational wellness, in environmental wellness, in financial and intellectual and spiritual and physical. And then the social one is also, our job is to connect with them. And so that helps that social wellness. We've had some really great quotes from the families that we have worked with. One of them was, the family peer supporter has been so wonderful, and I'm so grateful to have her. And then I'll let you go ahead and read this longer one. And I hope you see just how valuable families find family peer support.
Hey, so let's talk about the profession and the future of family peer support.
So the Family Peer Support Task Force, we met from September 2022 to August 2023, so for about a year. The purpose was to identify the needs and develop the fundamental elements necessary to grow and maintain a sustainable family peer support workforce in Montana. So the task force developed 3 goals that they wanted to complete. Number 1 was to define family peer support scope of practice and code of ethics. 2, to develop family peer support core competencies and training standards. And 3, to determine continuing education credits and clinical supervision. At the end of August, the task force completed all of that and really has a great recommendation for family peer support as a profession. So some of the professional standards that we came up with was, for certification requirements, the person would have to have lived experience and be over 21. They would have to have clinical supervision, which is meeting with a licensed clinical, it can be a social worker, it can be a licensed addiction counselor, an LCPC, training and agree to the code of ethics, and then the work experience. We really would like to see candidacy to help train and support that family peer supporter in the beginning. Their scope of practice would include sharing lived experience, tools and resources, active listening, mutual support, and advocacy. The code of ethics, and I think this is where we've had a lot of providers ask most of the questions is in this code of ethics. Family peer supporter will protect confidentiality. They are HIPAA required. They set the boundaries for what does working with a family look like. We're equal to them and their peer, but we are not their friend. We are mandatory reporters, and then really taking care of our own health and wellness is important. The core competencies that we felt were important for family peer supporter would be navigating the resources and systems, professional responsibilities, family-centered support, empowerment, and crisis intervention and planning. So these training standards, any training curriculum that is developed will have to meet the minimum standards for each core competency. For the future of family peer support, we see family peer supporters becoming certified. We see the service becoming Medicaid reimbursable. We foresee other payer sources coming into this. And really, what our hope is that a family peer supporter is embedded wherever children and families are being served. Thank you for watching video 3 of 4 of MPN's Family Peer Support Provider Training. Join us again for video 4.